Sam Barrett. It's the first of 2 15-minute races here this afternoon, of this morning at least, for the BRSCC meeting, which is headlined by TCR, TCT and PW Cup. Chaz, the floor is yours to lead us away for this one. It's going to, as we see at Thruxton, these guys always put on fantastic action, and I'm pretty confident this morning's first race is going to be more of the same.
It definitely will be. You can see on your screen then, that is Bruce Winfield on the outside in the number 37, in the orange highlighted machine. It's going to be very, very close, this one, trust me, because having all the same cars, there's a lot of one-make series here today. As they're away, you can hear them. A lot of these cars do rev over 9,000 RPM. They make a hell of a noise. Winfield gets a great start, though. Looks like he's going to lead them through turn one. He's not quite got rid of the overlap from second place. They're actually almost going 3 wide as they go down towards Beckett's. They're all just trying to filter through and do what they can. Alongside him, though, it looks like Alistair Camp has just held on to second there. On the brakes into Beckett's. Cold tyres first time round as well, trying to get the power down. Front wheel drive, these cars. Listen to the rasp. It's like a swarm of angry wasps coming out of Beckett's. They look and sound phenomenal. They're on the grass as well. I think that's actually Buki. He's been forced wide onto the left there. It's hard to tell because it's monochrome as they get towards us because of the sunlight here at Silverstone. But it's your championship leader, Bruce Winfield, leading the way at the moment. Second place there. That's Lewis just going down the inside of the 77 of Dalzell. One of the cars we didn't see last time out at Thruxton. Round Luffield they go. They've just come into sight now. It's like being back in Winsford, this. It's fantastic as they put their foot down on the exit. And here they go for the first time down the straight again here at Silverstone. And there's a humongous pack forming behind third place. Alp Williams was in third off the start, but it's Lewis that's third. Then it's Dalzell, Alp Williams, Taylor, Buki, Tonks, who also did a very, very strong recovery drive at Thruxton last time. Had engine issues in the first race, if I remember rightly, in the MRF adorning car. Fastest lap of the race, though, for Bruce Winfield on the first lap. But you can see, though, that Camp is now trying to stay with him into Beckett's. And those two, they might work together here, Scott, just to try and break away from that pack behind. Yeah, that's the key thing, to try and pull away, particularly on a fast circuit that's quite short but got long straights like this one heading down towards Brooklands. This is the key thing. The biggest mover on that first lap was, in fact, Martin Dalzell. So welcome back to the championship for him to get up 3 spots from, he started back in 7th on the grid. He's up to 4th. They might be looking for 3rd, but he's defending at the moment from George Alp Williams, who started in 3rd position. He's down to 5th, so wasn't a great start from the second row of the grid. He's now under threat from Paul Taylor in the 195. As they come up through Luffield for the end of the second lap. And you're absolutely right that Winfield and Camp are starting to become the class of the field. Max Lewis is trying to go with them in 3rd position as they fly through Woodcote for the end of lap 2. 15-minute race. They're all on the Honda Civic EP3s, 2-litre engines. As you can see, they do really have the touring car sound to them. As Martin Dalzell has a look up the inside for 3rd place into Copse Corner, and Lewis almost lets him through, as to say, after you, Martin, and through he goes. Tries to get the cut back on the exit as Camp sets the fastest lap, but now it's everyone trying to be 3rd place, because you can see George Alp Williams is in the mix. So also too was Paul Taylor and David Buki. Top 2 get away, but for 3rd place, it's everyone trying to get into Magnus and Beckett's into the lead of that group, and it is in fact Max Lewis. One car running wide, I think that was possibly Damien Harris, as Jamie Tonks got a bit of a tag there from Ross Darlington, and as Damien Harris recovers, it's all kicking off in the mid-pack, Chaz. It is indeed, and Alp Williams actually sort of got on the brakes a little bit early there to try and make a move as like a cutback on the pack as they got together, but with Buki's car right in front, he couldn't quite see the apex and he almost cut the corner. But it's 5 cars at the moment, nearly 6 for 3rd place, and it's there you can see Lewis just ahead of the 195 of Paul Taylor. But back into our sight again then, and it looks like Winfield's opening up a little gap from Camp, but Lewis needs to just crack on now and try and get away from these guys behind him, but it's not easy. But again, as I said before, proof in the pudding that there is no need for a massive grid of cars to have a great race.
Absolutely, these guys really do put on a great show, and they did that, of course, when we were both looking at them on circuit comms at Thruxton just a few weeks ago. It was brilliant to see. So out of Copse now at the start of lap 4. Here's that scrap for 3rd. So it's the blue and orange car number 71 of Max Lewis being chased down by the 195, the sort of black and white car of Paul Taylor, and a bit of a wiggle there for Martin Dalzell. He gets very sideways under braking. That's going to put him under threat from the 51 of David Buki. Also trying to recover is George Alp Williams, who he does have the rookie cross on the map, but he started on the second row of the grid and he's just falling back towards the back end of the top 10. He's back down to 7th. He's got a bit of a gap to Jamie Tonks, who's trying to close in, and he's had a great rookie season so far as Jamie. He's only ever done track days before this season, but he's certainly doing a phenomenal job so far in the MRF backed car, as we see the scrap for 3rd continuing. So we've got battles pairing off here. quickly looking back at the lead, Bruce Winfield says, well, either come with me or let me go, because Bruce Winfield has put his foot down, and the gap was last time by across the line just over 3/4 of a second. I think a possible mishap there for Alistair Camp has put the gap out. He's doubled it to 1.5 seconds, and Bruce Winfield smashes the fastest lap time with a 1 minute 5.699. He's pulled out 8/10, and that's not on a mistake actually for Alistair Camp. That's just pure pace from Bruce, showing how quick he really is this season.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying, and undoubtedly showing why he is the championship leader at the moment. This is a great battle though between Lewis and Taylor for 3rd and 4th position on the brakes into Beckett's. Interesting little thing to note as well, this is a bit of a nerdy fact about the Honda Civic EP3. Some of them here are running the standard EP3 rear wing. Some of them have the uprated Mugen wing, which actually has a modifiable gurney flap in the middle of it that you can have at a different angle, which is very popular in the modified scene. Some of the cars though, like I say, running the standard one. You can see there the car of, I believe it's Taylor, that is running the air intake on the roof. There's a couple of them in the field doing that. That's Alp Williams trying to go around David Buki. A bit of a lock up there as well. Dalzell sort of holding them up there. Alp Williams looks down the inside. Bit of contact. Buki's off. Oh, you can see as he corrected it, the car straightened up. That's the thing sometimes in front wheel drive cars. If they get enough of a slide on, you can just floor it and it'll straighten up. But in that case there, he put the power on and it just understeered even further wide. And he is now behind Darlington and the number 9 machine of Paul McHugh just ahead of him. But there you see now, there's a bit of a gap in the pack due to that. But Alp Williams, little bit of guilty damage on the front left of the splitter there, hanging down slightly. There's the championship white car of Darlington, as Scott informed me very quickly at Thruxton. And we've actually got Barrett, number 155, coming into the pit lane. I'm not sure what's up with that car. He had a bit of an issue with one of the brakes at Thruxton, I think, snatching on him when he was going into the complex, as Buki makes his comeback now, and like you said, he was one of the favourites for the championship, and now he's really getting involved here. 3 wide almost as they come towards Brooklands.
Yeah, I don't think he appreciated being elbowed wide there. I think knowing David Buki is summed in the paddock, he won't appreciate being pushed around. He's certainly going to try and make that Civic one his thing as much as he can. He's now going to try and defend from Paul McHugh as they come into the complex. Ross Darlington tries to look around the outside in that championship white and green machine. He tries to get the inside line for Luffield. That's a classic switchback move. You've got the momentum around the outside. You come and try and make it work, and there's more contact. Ross thinks, right, I'm going to have a chunk of Paul McHugh this time. Tries to spin him around. Oh, there's contact. He's giving it back. Goodness me. They're banging wing mirrors on the run through Woodcote corner. You're going to try and biff me out of the way. Have that, sunshine, as he comes up through the corner. And now they're still going side by side. I don't think it's finished just yet. They tap wing mirrors again. Back with the lead, meanwhile, a bit more civilised at the front, as Bruce Winfield has a 2-second lead now with the fastest lap from Alistair Camp in 2nd place. Max Lewis, who picked up a race win at Thruxton last time out, is in 3rd, being chased down by Paul Taylor. So, and that gap at the moment between them is about half a second. Then the next duel with George Alp Williams, who has got past Martin Dalzell. So after falling back from 3rd on the grid as far as 7th place, he's climbing back up the order. But if these two keep on scrapping, look for Jamie Tonks in the white and red number 4 MRF sponsored car. That car's also going to be in the mix as well, but he's also under threat just behind. There's a battle going on with David Buki, who has managed to get away from the dueling pair, shall I say. And I use that term quite lightly because they were doing anything but just politely dueling. It was like pistols drawn at noon, wasn't it? Yeah. But in many cases, it was a fantastic battle we've had so far, and these two are continuing that scrap. And we just got past halfway. There was so much action for the first race. We've already just hit halfway. It's phenomenal stuff.
Oh, he's entering the Paris-Dakar, and he's going in the pit lane by the look of it involuntarily as he comes back across the grass. That was almost the most stylish pit lane entrance I've ever seen there from Paul McHugh, but not quite desired. He's got Harris bearing down on him behind. There is Jamie Tonks in the number 4 MRF tyres car. Great livery on that car. Looks like one of the classical sort of older Civic liveries that you used to see on the old EG6s back in the day. There's a slide there from Lewis, and well, thank you very much. Down the inside goes Taylor, but he keeps it with him side by side. There's the prime example of those 2 different rear wings that I was talking about. If you can make the black flap out on Lewis's car, still side by side as they come down towards Brooklands though. You'll see the nose of the car just dive down as they get on the brakes, but it's not easy to get them settled into the corner and then get them turned in. Don't forget these things are front wheel drive, so the front wheels are doing all of the work. Onto the brakes again into Luffield, and you can see Taylor takes a late apex there, tries just to open the door. That's more than opening the door, that's absolutely barging it open. Just gives him a nudge and he loses a bit of momentum out the final corner then, so Lewis stays ahead for now. They roar past the commentary box. There's more of a scream, isn't it, really, in the Honda Civic Type R. The K20 engines doing what they do. They're still right together as they go through Copse as well though, but Taylor, this is a relentless pursuit at the moment, and until that moment, he wasn't really trying too hard to pry the door open. It was more of just sort of following and just trying to get a mistake out of Lewis, and he's done it at the moment. There was that little twitch into Beckett's as they go through there once again now. Back onto the throttle. I could listen to these things all day, honestly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
Over 8,500 RPM. Some of them, like I say, 9 and slightly above. It's incredible stuff. And these engines are very bomb-proof. Even just the road cars, they are incredible. As he looks down the inside, no, just again trying to put the pressure on to make the move. These two are 5 seconds back from the lead pair, by the way, who are still separated by just over 2 seconds. Or they were last time they crossed the line. Personal best last time round, though, actually, from the number 45 of Alistair Camp. So he's on his pace. The two cars at the front as well, wearing the Area Motorsport branding. There's a couple of cars out there and a lot of Civics that you will see with that as well. They're very well known within the entire Honda community. David Buki, he's gradually making time up, but not massively. I'd say that. He's actually done his personal best, but the car ahead of Tonks was actually a 10th quicker than him on that previous lap. So he's trying to do that comeback, but it's so closely matched here, Scott, that it's not easy to try and get back through the field once it spreads out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Just quickly noticed that someone else started to kick some dust up on the exit of Luffield as well, which is starting to settle now, so someone decided to run wide. But it just shows how closely matched and how tightly controlled these cars really are. It just shows that in the right hands, these cars can either pull away with a 5-6 second lead, or you can be in the pack and find yourself somebody to race with. And there are some personal bests coming up. George Williams, Martin Dalzell, and indeed, as you pointed out, Chaz, David Buki, all setting personal bests in that last lap. Meanwhile, I think Paul Taylor wants to climb inside Max Lewis's boot lead, never mind try and get past him. He's so close, and every time takes that late line. It might work this time as Lewis possibly leaves the door open. And Taylor tried to lean him on the apex of the corner, but couldn't quite make it stick. And they've got to be careful, because look at George Williams in the grey and red car behind him in 5th position, car number 5. He's starting to try and close in. He set a personal best last time by, and just trying to close that gap in. The gap between Taylor and Williams is just under a second. Again, Taylor and Williams both set personal bests, as Max Lewis is the one that's almost the cork in the bottle here for who decides the final podium place. It looks, touch wood, pretty set at the moment for that one as George Williams runs wide on the exit of Copse. And he might start to come with a threat for Martin Dalzell. More personal bests from Jamie Tonks and David Buki, and on that time by Tonks' personal best was 2/10 quicker than Buki. So I think possibly the 51 car has risen as high as it's possibly going to go on his comeback here. But this is the scrap for third between Max Lewis and the blue and orange car, the black and white car of Paul Taylor, and then it's the grey and red machine of George Williams as they come back down towards Brooklands again. This is on lap 11. We've still got 3 minutes to go here in this first race of the weekend for the Milltek Civic Cup. And also, we should keep a note that he might be running out of time possibly, but Alistair Camp in this second half of the race, Chaz, is starting to slowly reel Bruce Winfield back in. But I think with 2.5 minutes to go, unless something dramatic happens, touch wood, I don't think he will catch him.
He gained a 10.5 on the last lap, but he's just lost 3/10 again now. So there's a bit of a yo-yo effect going on at the moment. But it's like someone's put a bungee cord on the back of Winfield's car, but not a very good one. As Taylor at the moment still chasing down Lewis for third position, and he desperately wants to take that podium spot away from Max, and Max is doing everything he can. Maybe it's the bright pink on the car putting Taylor off at this point. You never know. Some of these drivers do say that bright liveries do tend to put them off a little bit, but you know, he's got his own neon yellow rear wing anyway. But it's a great chase at the moment, and Alt Williams, despite having that novice sticker on in the background, is just going to be watching thinking, please have a bit of contact, boys. Just please close it up a little bit just so I can have another go. But look at this now. Taylor weaving around on the straight all over the place, trying to put Max Lewis off. But if anything there, he just hindered his own line. Although Lewis has gone a little bit wide. I'm just looking out the window. He's gone wide. And now Taylor's trying to go around the outside of Luffield. Maybe a bit of a touch there. Right front to left rear. There they are. Just coming into shot now out of the final corner. There's going to be 2 laps to go now in this race. And the pair of them are still stuck together. And now that's a very good bungee cord on the back of Max Lewis's car. This one's certainly working and holding them together. In the background you can see Tonks is just closing up on Dalzell. Down the inside into Copse goes Taylor. Slides it sideways. Manages to save it. The car's all over the place. That's an absolutely phenomenal double save there. The back end just steps out again once he gets back on the power. But look at that. He's lost a lot of time now. And Alt Williams also ran wide out of Copse. But he's also gained a bit of time on the pair of them. You've got to think it might be gaining an advantage by going off the circuit, but you never know. It's not too much of an advantage, to be fair, because at the end of the day it was a mistake by Taylor as well. He actually ducks out of the slipstream there. You've got to think that might be just to cool the car slightly, because they do run hot, these Civics, as race cars do, but even naturally just these K20 engines do get very hot because of the tiny tolerances they have and how well they're built. They do operate at very high temperatures. They do it well. Taylor now, once again, he's just inspecting the back of Max Lewis's car just to see if there's any tow hooks that he can try and grab hold of on the back of it. Doing a great job out of Luffield, although I say that, he's actually lost, he's not got as good a run as Max Lewis out there, so he just can't quite stick with him. This is going to be the final lap now for race leader Bruce Winfield, championship leader as well, doing another phenomenal job. He's got to be very confident going into yet another race this afternoon, which will be coming to you from 10 to 2. Can't wait for that one as well. It's going to be another great round, but I reiterate again, everyone, that the fact that this field is, 12 cars, and every single one of them has been involved in a battle. We've lost Barrett from the race, unfortunately, lost him a good 8 laps ago. But into the final few corners then, this battle is really going to hot up. We will have a quick look back at Bruce Winfield, I'm sure, as he comes round into Luffield, and undoubtedly will take the win, but we've got this epic battle for third place. Who is going to secure the final podium spot? But just coming out of Luffield then is Bruce Winfield to come round Woodcote and take the checkered flag. Bruce Winfield wins it. Very well done. Championship leader takes another chunk of points away from his rivals. Great second place though for Mr. Camp, and it is Max Lewis third, and between Taylor and out Williams is going to try and drag him to the line, and he doesn't quite do it. 79 thousandths of a second between the pair of them, but another fantastic race from the Milltek Civic Cup. We've got Dalzell there just ahead of Tonks, and David Bucke, hand out the window. He's still acknowledging the marshals, and we must say thank you to all the marshals and the Orange Army for their commitment to this as well. If anything, we thought there was going to be a shortage of marshals because of COVID, but it's actually increased it because everyone wants to get back to a racetrack again. It's great, but Bucke just couldn't quite recover there, unfortunately, but you know, he still put the effort in, and it was great to watch. But yeah, a fantastic race to start the day there, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just quickly confirm the result then. Bruce Winfield, who wins the race by 4.1 seconds from Alistair Camp in second. Max Lewis does win that battle for third place that Chaz very eloquently described in those closing laps. And Paul Taylor fourth. George Williams just missing out on fourth by 79 1,000ths of a second. Martin Dalzell finishes sixth from Jamie Tonks in seventh. Then David Bucke, Ross Dollington and Paul McHugh rounds out the top 10, with Damien Harris finishing 11th. And unfortunately, we lost Barrett in the pit lane early on. So the cars are making their way into pit lane just outside the left of our commentary box, overlooking Woodcote Corner. But absolutely, regardless of the numbers, fantastic race to start off today's racing, and that's 1 down, 12 more to go. And if exciting as that, with the fact with more cars in the mix, it's going to be a barnstormer for the rest of the afternoon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, as soon as I saw the programme, I almost jumped out of my seat with excitement, just knowing how many fantastic series we've got here, and they're all going to be as close as that. We've got, I mean, the MX-5s. We were just talking before earlier in the qualifying session, the fact that there was 18 cars separated by less than a second.
Yes,
it was unbelievable, and it's probably going to be like that in the race. I mean, we had like 4 or 5 wide in the Fun Cup yesterday. I imagine we're probably going to get the same in the MX-5 because those boys are not scared of getting their elbows out. As you see your podium here in the Civics, congratulations from both drivers, one to another. And then we're going to switch over now to the next race in just a moment, I believe.
Believe so, but before that, I think we're going to hand over to our pit lane reporter, Bryn Lucas, who is down there with our top 3 to have a chat and see what Bruce Winfield made of his 4th win out of 5 races from that top 3.
Thank you very much indeed, gents. It was kind of processional, wasn't it? A bit of a battle there between 3rd and 4th. We're going to talk to a couple of the drivers in just a few seconds. They're a bit sweaty. They're getting their face masks on. You know, it's a weird world we live in with COVID-19, but we are getting through it somehow, and the drivers are getting prepared. In fact, let's go straight to Alistair Camp here. If I can jump straight. Alistair, can we have a quick word if we just put you here for us? So, Alistair, that was a tricky one, really, because you were kind of stuck behind. You couldn't get on the back of Bruce there, but you knew you were miles ahead of 3rd place, and all you had to do was just keep it true.
Yeah, keep it true. I could see my delta in the car going quicker and quicker, and I thought if I can just get the fastest laps, that's worth the point. And then I made a mess down here, and then that's when Bruce managed to get the gap then, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get it in the toe now because you rely, obviously, on the back straight with a bit of toe because it's such a fine margin around here. So, yeah, just did all we could, and then when I knew I weren't going to get any more, I just thought, just settle for where you are and don't make any stupid mistakes and go again for the next race.
But as we know, often when it comes to settling for a position for second, that is when mistakes can happen because your focus slightly goes off, doesn't it?
Yeah, you don't, like I say, because you're not chasing. You can get a bit too reserved sometimes, and you look in the mirror, you see somebody catching, you're thinking, oh no, I need a bit more work here to do, and then that's when your mistakes are made. But no, the car feels really good, really comfortable with it, so really happy.
Great stuff. With no champagne spraying around, but well done. You got yourself a second place.
Okay, thank you very much, Jude.
And now we'll grab our third place driver, I think, actually. If we go to Max, he had to work quite hard there, I think it's fair to say. He jumped up to third place. Max, if we can get you in position for us, that'd be great. So, first of all, well done.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I struggled a bit. I had to hang on to a race. My mirror was full of Paul Taylor all the time.
I was going to say, really looking for us out on track, yours was the battle that we had our eyes on, because you got up to third place and then thought, okay, he's got this, but then really you were getting pulled.
I had a bit of a gap. I missed a gear. I missed fifth coming up here, and then Martin Dazal sort of really closed on me, and then from then I was defending, and the car started getting a bit of understeer, and it was a battle from there really, but I enjoyed it. It was good fun. But I had to work for it.
What's it like trying to defend around the Silverstone National?
It's not too bad, but you just got to be really careful, because it's easy to go because the straights are so fast, you can go too deep into the corner, and that's all it takes for someone to get at the inside. So there's a couple of moments where Paul did stick his nose in, but just managed to just stay in front. Lucky.
Absolutely. And track conditions, what they're like, because it's very cold out here today, isn't it?
Well, I was same in qualifying, struggling with a bit of understeer, so I made a few adjustments which seemed better at the start, but then it went off, so I think I need to go a bit further and see if I can make it a lot bit better. So we'll see. So see what happens in the second race.
It's always dangerous changing setups and stuff, isn't it, between races, but well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
There you go. That's our third place driver, but our race winner, and I say unsurprisingly, it really kind of was a great, do you want to step in, Bruce? It really was one of those races that had Bruce Winfield's name all over it from the start.
Well, yeah, Ali was giving me a run from money at the start, though. Every corner I came out of, he was right behind me. He made a little mistake coming down into the complex here. Just give me a little bit of breathing room, and then instead of defending, I could just concentrate on, doing my own thing. So, yeah, pulled out a little bit of a gap, and yeah, came away with first place.
But there you are driving along, you're on pole to start with, and you drive away, you start to get this bit of a gap, the Civic behind you gets smaller and smaller and smaller until all of a sudden probably non-existent.
Yeah, I think there was a bit in the middle of the race where he started catching me a little bit. I made a couple of little mistakes, not big ones, a couple of little ones, and he seemed quite consistent, so I think he started catching me a little bit, and then I just concentrate on what I was doing and stop making the mistakes. Your lap times drop off a little bit because it's more a case of just trying to maintain that gap instead of trying pull a lead. But yeah, he started gaining back on me a little bit in the middle of the race, and then I think he made a couple more mistakes. That was kind of that was it really. Yeah.
Not a bad start. And there's also, I was talking about track conditions, because although it is sunny here and the sun is shining quite nicely, it's quite windy and it's quite cold still.
Yeah, it's not overly warm, but it's better for the engine when it's cooler, isn't it? So it's a combination of track temperature and air temperature, like I say. The engines run sweeter in cooler air, but your tyres prefer it when it's warmer. So hopefully we'll see how we got in the race in a bit.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
There you go, three very happy drivers. They're saying about the track conditions, and it is tricky out here because, as Bruce was saying, yes, on one hand you've got cool air, which is perfect for the engine, sucks more air in, you get more power out of it, but then of course not quite as grippy with the tyres. So there you go, things to bear in mind for the next race, which is coming up in just a few minutes here live from Silverstone. We've got coverage for you of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5.